Is there a so I'm kind of wondering if there's a favorite sketch note project that you've ever done or been a part of. I mean, either with kids or your own personal one or both.
You, I would say one of the most interesting ones that I've done recently is I'm also kind of the in-house sketchnoter for a design firm in New York, Rosenfeld Media, and so I get to sketchnote their speakers at a conference. I've probably done 4 or 5 of them, and it's interesting because I'm these are other industries that I'm having to learn and other concepts and things in industry that I am not necessarily familiar with. So these are all designers of all sorts, and from the operation side to the actual designing, physical designing side. I like it. It's fun. It's fun to see and then share with them what I've done, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing!" Like just to hear them give me feedback on something, that I captured that they said. That's for sure my favorite, and probably one of the hardest ones because I'm not familiar necessarily with all of the things they're gonna say. So I will have to, there's times where I'm just like, okay, a thing is gonna go here. Let me go research that. And then I'll have to go look, what does that even mean? And so those have been fun. Like I've really enjoyed those professionally, just getting outside of education, building a library in my head of new things that I can use. But man, I always like working with kids. Watching kids use this for like pre-writing activities is a lot of fun. Teaching kids storyboarding, I that's an activity I do with kids, and I love it because you're teaching them how to break up a story or break up a narrative into pieces, chunk it, and when they do that, they add so much more detail in a drawing than they will in their writing. So when you ask them, hey, write more detail, you can reference, hey, you reference like your bedroom. Why don't you talk about your comforter? Look at all the stuff on your comforter you drew. It's like this theme. Or you didn't mention that cat on the chair in the kitchen when by the door. What's that about? Like talk about that. Like you have things to actually point to. Otherwise, you're trying to pull stuff out of kids' heads that it's not always forthcoming, or they forget. But drawings, you see detail. So it's really cool. It's really cool to do that. So with kids, definitely storyboarding stories is fun. I'm trying to think of any other ones. So
what about your projects you have going as an illustrator?
oh man, those have been a blast. Like, I started doing sketchnoting and in working with kids, and it really started from there. I started publishing those or putting those on social media, not publishing, but putting them on social media, and really receptive. People were receptive, asking questions, and then I started to sneak in my own drawings because then I just started to draw more, kind of like back when I was a kid. I started to draw more, and I started to share those, and people were like, "Oh, this is great! Oh, this I really hey, can you draw this for me?" And it really kind of just snowballed from there. Like I got, draw my pet, draw my team, draw my face. Can you draw these things? Can you draw this character? And then it just led to networking and getting, people to share things. And then eventually somebody reached out and said, "Hey, I work for this publishing company. We are looking for illustrators. Your name came up. Would you be interested in being listed as an illustrator?" And I'm like, sure. I never really kind of thought of myself in that sense. Like, imposter syndrome is real. And so I put it on there, and they're like, cool. I'd never illustrated a kid's book before. I didn't know how to illustrate a kid's book. But you kind of, you just go and research and you look. And then I reached out to people. And because I had that one book, I led to the next book. And then I recently I started posting things online, sketching podcasts. I was sketching podcasts that I'm listening to and the things I'm hearing, post them, tagging people, and they would reach out like, "Hey, can you do this for us for this?" And it's kind of just gone from there. It's been a lot of fun. I just recently, I'm in St. Louis, Illinois is literally right there. So there's a visitors bureau, and they reached out and said, "Hey, can you do an illustration, a map of this particular area? It's going to go in our visitors guide." I did it for them. The other visitors bureau downstate said, "Hey, you did it for them. Can you do it for us? And can you do a mural?" So I said, sure. So I learned how to do a 15 by 4 foot, illustrate a 15 by 4 foot mural that they're putting in their office next week. So
cool.
Yeah, it's
really cool.
Fortunate, a lot of hard work, excited, but it's been fun. So it's hard because that's when I say I'm busy and I can't make videos. I'm busy and I can't make videos. But I like it because then I get to talk to those people about drawing and how it works. And if you have kids, this is how it could work. So I get to share with it outside of education.
Cool. Got one more question for you.
Sure.
If you could collaborate with any artist or writer, past or present, who would that be? Who would be your favorite one that you would?
I'm a big Oliver Jeffers fan. I don't know if Oliver Jeffers is a children's book. He's an artist and a children's book writer. He wrote The Day the Crayons Quit. I don't know if you guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I got to meet him. He was in Chicago doing a talk. He's one of my favorite illustrators, or I guess artists. And I would love to do something with him. Like that would be really, really cool. I mean, it seems like a nice, genuine guy. I like the things that he has to say. I like the art that he creates. He's a painter as well. I mean, he's a full-on artist, does it in a variety of mediums, but he makes it look like it's so simple. Yet, I've watched videos of him create stuff. I'm like, no, that's okay. Yeah, he put some work behind that, kind of thing, and I like that. That would probably be somebody who I would love to spend time with and kind of pick their brain and get to create something with them for sure.
Cool.
Technology.